Over the past 10 months, I was able to grow 16,117 rands worth of food in my back garden. That does include meat, and it is organic prices, but that's exactly what I'm growing in my garden. My name is Bridget, and this is the Sherwood Urban Farm. So in today's video, I want to give you a tour of my backyard, my little urban farm. Actually, it's a suburban farm. And I want to show you how I actually managed to grow this 16,117 rands worth of produce in my back garden. So I'm sitting here in my main kitchen garden. This is a 65 square meter space, and I've got 12 raised beds. But I don't only grow in my raised beds, I also grow in containers. I have carrots in 5-liter growing containers, and then in 20-liter buckets I grow my potatoes. And then along the fence I've got grenadillas, and in the path I've even got gooseberries. And then in other containers I also have got some strawberries, and I'm just letting them sort of overflow and just grow in the path because I just want to max out every bit of growing space that I have. So here in the normal area where people normally have grass in their backyards, I have decided, since my kids are big now, I'm going to put up these raised beds, these tall raised beds, and I have 5 of them, 4 L-shaped and this big one here. This has been probably the most productive space of all my growing spaces. I am currently growing broccoli. I've never been successful with broccoli. I've got broccoli heads developing, guys. This is amazing. So I'm trying to really just maximize all my growing space. The reason why I planked it right in the middle here is because of the sun. So in the winter time, in my main kitchen garden, 3 of my beds, well no, maybe not 3, 2.5 of the beds are going to be in shade most of the day. In fact, the one bed is complete shade, it doesn't get any sun. So in this way, I'm able to now grow throughout the year. The other thing that I do is, where I normally used to have ornamental things growing I've started to use my ornamental beds for growing food producing or edible plants. I've got a raised bed over there where we've grown the most amazing butternut over the summer season, and at the moment I'm busy working out a bed where I'm sort of doing an in-ground composting so that in September, when we can start planting for summer vegetables, I will be able to use that bed, which is a little bit raised because of the trees, and I can grow in there. Right, and this is where it all begins for my growing of plants. I have my little greenhouse. I built it myself. It is just very simple. These are branding strips, and this is IVR polycarb roof sheeting. And yeah, here it is. I have all my little starts here in the greenhouse. I grow most of my stuff from seed. Occasionally I'll buy some plugs, but this is definitely the most affordable way to grow your own vegetables. Another way to sort of almost increase your growing space is to allow these kind of plants that will trail. This is now a Grenadilla, which I plan to have growing all around these raised beds. That is like, they got their roots in the soil, but they are not taking up any other space. All this is dead space. So now they'll be able to grow all the way around these raised beds and produce fruit for me. And I did the same thing here with this bed in the springtime, in summer. Then this was overflowing with the butternut. So I planted the butternut in the corners, and then I just allowed it to sort of cascade all the way around. Eventually I sort of trained it right around the bed. So I was having butternuts that were just sort of cascading and hanging off the side of the bed, instead of them taking up a whole growing space where I could have planted something else. Something like this arch, this is just welded wire fencing, which I've now sort of fashioned over these 4 poles. Here I've got a tomato plant. This is actually a volunteer tomato. It is sort of on its end now, but it's still producing. But it's produced like kilograms of tomatoes as it grew over this arch. So this is another way of sort of vertical growing, which is not taking up any ground space. And then I have 2 composting bins here. The one has got ready compost, and then the other one has got compost which I'm continuously adding to. I only turn my compost once. I move it from one side to the next as it gets finished. And this is by far the best way to grow your own food, is have your own composting bins, grow your own seedlings. And even with the animals, even if you don't want to grow have chickens that you're raising for meat, at least have chickens that you're raising for eggs, because the price of eggs is insane. The price of food is insane, actually, just full stop. But if you have them in a run like that, then you just keep adding the deep litter system, which eventually turns into compost, which will save you hundreds of rands instead of buying in compost. And I can tell you, I've bought in compost before when I started those raised beds, and my compost was superior in growing the most amazing plants as opposed to the compost that I bought in. So now I'm in my chicken run. This is a 21 square meter chicken run, and normally we've only got about 5 or 6 laying hens. At the moment we've got quite a few because we're transitioning over from the older girls to the newer ones. And then I've also got in this for about, I'll probably do it about 4 or 5 times a year, I'll raise broiler chickens. So this is not for everybody. It's easier to just raise your chickens, your layer chickens for eggs, but it's not really for everybody. You've got to have quite a strong stomach and strong emotions to raise your own meat. But it is so worth it because you know what you're feeding them, and you know that they're being raised in a beautiful way. Some of them are born here and they will die here too, and they have sunshine and space. Sometimes we let them on the grass. Anyway, so I have got 10 broiler chickens, and then I have 3 ducks. And I'll quickly show you the ducks with the parents. So the parents have also got their own run, and we have got bantam chickens, which we are going to now use instead of an incubator because of all the load shedding, to hatch out the duck eggs. So come, let's go and have a look at the ducks. Okay, so this is the run for the ducks, and they've got a little paddle pond in there, and we actually normally let them out, so I'm going to let them out now. But they are actually also making, oh, they won't come out without me there. There we go. There they are. So you'll notice here in the run, I put down wood shavings, and then I'll also put down some grass clippings as well. But if you look, if I go like this, look at this. Look at this beautiful compost that is in the making. This could easily be about a cube of compost that I'm going to be able to produce in this run, and not to mention the compost that I'm able to produce in the chickens run. And then something that is probably a little bit squeamish for some people, but we also raise meat rabbits. Let's go and have a look at them. Okay. So we also raise meat rabbits, and this is the male, Flopsy, and then we have the 2 females, which we occasionally let out. She was out yesterday. Right, so here's our other female, and she's in the coop that we move daily. And when they have babies, then we will put all the babies in this coop as well, and we move them along the grass daily. That helps with the grass. We don't have to mow the lawn, and then they fertilize the lawn, and we also harvest them for meat. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I really hope that I inspired you to be able to grow your own food. Even if you don't have a small holding or a farm, you can grow a huge amount of food even in your back garden. And if you live in an apartment and you only have a balcony, then you can still grow food, even carrots, in containers. So there is really no excuse to grow your own food. And at the rate at which the food prices are going up now, you really have to do what people used to do for centuries. It was always something that everybody used to grow their own food. Everybody used to have their own chickens in their backyards. It is really such an honorable thing to grow your own food. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and share it with your friends, and don't forget the little notification bell so that you'll know every time that I upload a video. And I hope that you have a fabulous day further.